What's up and happy mental push-up Monday, baby. We here. And if this is your first time joining, my name is Andrea Fitzgerald. I'm an author, speaker, educator, and also a person really obsessed with personal growth and development. So we get in here each week, we do our mental push-ups because the most challenging and rewarding work that we will ever do is on ourselves. So today we are going to talk about life is always working for you. So as I thought about this idea, I was reflecting on my time when I had just graduated from college. And y'all know how it is. Trying to find that first job. I feel like it's like a whole job trying to find a job. But I was looking for an internship because I really wanted to work in the NBA during that time. And I go down to Atlanta. There was an opening there. And I thought to myself, I said, well, shoot, if I got the interview, I got this job. Because up to that point, every interview that I went on, I got the job. But that wasn't the case this time. So I remember I was so upset about this job. I was like, man, I'm never going to find a job. Because these jobs during that time, it was very hard to get in those positions. And so I was just devastated. I was like, man, I can't believe this. I'm talking about sitting in my room for 2 days. I was really upset about it. So I ended up getting a job at Macy's, $7.50 an hour, y'all. I got a whole master's degree, so I get an internship with the Grizzlies here in town, and so I do that job for a few times. I get promoted there, and eventually, maybe a few years into that role, an opening comes up again in Atlanta, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for this. And then it was actually higher than the position that I applied for, and the one I was at was a manager role. And so I go down there, I do the interview, I get the job. And while I'm in the job, I was talking to one of the interns there, and he was like, man, he's like, you so lucky, you got such a, you have a great position. And he said, because, I've been an intern for so long, he's like, and not that they don't do it, but they don't hire internally a lot. I was in that moment that life was working for me. It set me, everything that happened right before that, even though I was having a whole meltdown, it was working on my behalf. It set me up. Everything that I did in between those 5 years set me up to be ready to apply for that position and get it. So sometimes in our life, we can be going through different seasons for ourselves, right? It's challenging, and we are asking ourselves straight up, why the heck is all this stuff happening to me? And a lot of times we may not understand it in the moment, but it is preparing us for something, and we don't know what it is. And so life is always working for us, and when we're in that moment, sometimes we I just wanted to go away. This is terrible. This is horrible. I know I thought man, I'm never gonna find a job because I'm getting all these no's, and the place that I thought that I was gonna get and I really, really wanted, I couldn't get that either. So I want to share with you a few tips in terms of knowing that life is working for you and how to work with that in your mind. Let's get right into it. Number 1, shift your perspective from why me to why not me. My goodness, wouldn't it be great if we experience good times all the time? I promise. I talk to my therapist about this all the time. I'm like, man, I said, why can't it always be great? And one thing she told me, she said, you need the darkness just as much as you need the light, because then you appreciate the light more because you experience the darkness. But honestly, the darkness, when I reflect on my own journey, the darkness is where we grow the most. I was in my room, oh my gosh, I'm never going to find a job, and countless other moments. But that's where we grow the most. It's almost I don't know if you remember the old school perm, and when that new growth be coming in, it's painful, but it's necessary for you to, know where they need to put the new product in, And so just keep in mind that we are not exempt from challenge. It is required to level up, and that's all it means. When you're experiencing the challenge and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on here, it just means you're leveling up and you're being pushed to the level. And I often like to think of it like that universe, God, source, whatever you believe in, is just shaking off those things off of us to prepare us for the next level. That's exactly what was happening. Boo, you wasn't ready. You wasn't ready. So I knew you wasn't ready. So let me put you in a better situation so you can be ready when the opportunity comes around again. Which leads to number 2. What is the lesson that you could possibly take from this situation. You know, like, okay, we're not a victim, why me, but why not me? What is it I need to learn here? Because reflecting back on that situation, I wasn't ready. That's the truth. If I would have got that job, I probably would have lost it because I was not prepared for the opportunity. And so the other part of that is sometimes you don't know what the lesson is when you're in it. You're just like, what is going on here? I don't understand why this not working out for me. You know, we trying to put the round piece in the square peg or whatever you want to call it. We trying to put that thing in there, and we don't understand like why, like what is this all about? But know that it's always working for you. If I would not have got that rejection on the front end, I would not have gotten an opportunity 5 years later. So sometimes it's not a no, it's just not yet. And that's okay. Or it could be something greater later. Number 3, what's the next best thing? When we're in challenging moments or we don't understand like why things are the way that they are in that space, know that you're not gonna figure it all out in one day, 1 hour, 1 week. Just do the next best thing. Reflecting back on my moment, the next best thing for me was like, well, I didn't get this job. I said, well, I'm gonna find me a job. My mom actually was like, girl, you gonna find a job because you ain't better sitting here and suck up all the air. But I did. I said, well, let me go find a job. So I worked at Macy's, $7.50 an hour. I was an intern, $1,000 a month, y'all. $1,000. That's $250 a week. So I wasn't making any money, but what it taught me how to grind. So because of the grind I had with that job, working 50, 60 hours a week, that prepared me for the job in Atlanta, which was like sometimes 60, 70, like it was a lot of hours. But if I wouldn't have had the experience in Memphis, or even like working in Macy's, like working a full-time job as an intern, then working at night, like, so I learned how it prepared me with skills so that I could flourish in that opportunity. And so it may not make sense in the moment, but it's always working for you. So we are going to wrap this up, and I'll say this before we get off here. Rock bottom will teach you lessons that the mountaintop never will. I've done a lot of things that are successful. Written a book, written a marathon, done a lot of things, but things where I've learned the most have been in my rock bottom moments. And so you may be in a space in your life where you don't know what's going on either. And that's okay. Because remember, life is working for you. You know, this vlog was created out of a rock bottom moment. I said I need to share, I need to hold myself accountable to working on myself. So I'm just going to share it with the world. That's where this was born from. And so if you're in a space like that, just remember that life is always working on your behalf. Even if it doesn't make sense right now, just know that. So thank you all for tuning in. Get out there this week and do those mental push-ups. And as I always say, be bold, be brave, and most importantly, friends, be you. And I'm out.